All righty, fam. We're here early on a Sunday, probably recording again Monday evening to talk about things like my amazing race where I had horrible wall balls. But we're recording early today. Cheryl, why are we here early on a Sunday?
Because everybody's talking about stuff that we wish we didn't have to talk about.
I think that's pretty well put. Dave, well, why would you say we're here today?
I just thought you were busy tomorrow.
You lie. You lie.
Yeah, perhaps.
Well, I think what we'd like to start with is these old people. These old people are very upset. You know what I mean? They they have to go to bed early. They have to get up early. They have to have dinner at 5, and now Hyrox has really messed with them. Cheryl, could you just start by reading maybe part of the email, maybe what the change is, and Hyrox's reason behind it, which apparently is for your benefit.
Right. So the 60 plus community this past week got I think we're getting an echo somehow. I don't know where that's happened.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
All right, let me do headphones maybe. Then.
And it's only when Cheryl and I talk, not when Matt talks.
All right, All right, let's hang on. Let's hang on. This is what happens when you don't have your regular tools with you.
We didn't know we were going to need this.
Right, might have to start over. Although I might keep the part where Cheryl said what she said because it was so good. But then Dave had to troll me.
I think we're definitely keeping all of this now.
All right, hang on.
All right. We want to try this.
How about now?
I'm not hearing anything. How about you, Dave? Are we good?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
Do you hear me and you?
Yep. Everything sounds good. So, all right. This last week, the very active Hyrox Facebook group, somebody posted their displeasure with a decision that Hyrox had made for the 60 plus age groupers. And they didn't have the actual email. And so I actually have been speaking to Peter Kelly. He reached out to me just a few hours ago to send me the email that they received because there's been a schedule change in Stockholm. Typically, singles races are on one day, doubles races are on another day. So those of us who qualify for both, which I would argue in the 60 plus community, there's a higher percentage of people that qualify for both because there's kind of a constellation of people who tend to win those races. That they have now consolidated the 60 plus age groupers to race Friday evening for both singles and doubles. And apparently the schedules overlap. So even if you wanted to race both races, you literally cannot because of logistics, from what I understand. And that's not the case with any other age group, right? So they sent out this email and they said, this change offers 2 major benefits. All right, so 2. Benefit number 1 is a unified race. You will now start alongside your peers, allowing the 60 plus community to compete together. Any thoughts about that, fellas?
I thought they already did that.
Correct. They do. So tiny bit patronizing there.
But they're 60 plus. They forgot.
Thing number 2 that the change offers a benefit is better track flow. This move prevents the congestion that would have occurred on Saturday, ensuring you aren't caught in the middle of your race by the younger high velocity doubles heats.
This is amazing.
Can you believe that?
It's even better than I thought. I've had a lot going on this weekend, so TBH, I had not read that exact phrase before. I read the first part, which I read is like, ribbed for your pleasure. Like it's always for you. Like we're canceling this race because for you, we're gonna do it later. Like that's kind of always the default. So if you were to race earlier, you might get caught by a young person and that would somehow dampen your experience, even though this is what we do week in, week out,
All the time.
every day, the last 5 world championships ad infinitum. Like it's never been an issue.
And can I just point out, like people like Peter Kelly, who qualify regularly, is probably easily in the pantheon of age group athletes in general, is likely faster than most of those younger age groups.
I want to say that if we were to give them the benefit of the doubt of whatever logistical nightmare of how do we get this many people through in this many days and whoever job that is, had they said in like July 1st, starting next year X, we'd be mad, right? We'd be mad, we'd bitch about it, and by now we would have been over it. 3 months out, really bad.
They've
Really
already
bad.
paid, they've already planned.
Tickets
And
to
a lot of them
Sweden.
already paid for both races.
Correct. So they're going to give you a refund.
They are going to give you a refund.
Apparently, they're going to give you the refund for the race you opt out of.
But I think for me personally, and listen, I'm not qualified for either, so I don't know how it would affect me. But the bigger slap is the for you, not the guys. We fucked up, and we're really sorry, and next year we'll make it up to you or something. But we've done this for you because you want to. Okay, let me get 2 facts. You get to race together, which
Yeah.
you already were,
Right.
and you won't get caught by young people. Do I have that accurately?
That's basically it. Yes. And it also says, then right after that, it says, you'll have the space you need to focus entirely on your performance and measure yourself against others of the same age.
But will they?
No matter if they compete in singles or doubles, we believe this adjustment will significantly enhance your world championship experience.
It's almost as if, like, I was gonna say they asked chat, but I don't think chat would even say that. Like, hey, how can we phrase this to make it sound like we're doing you a favor? It's so bizarre, and I feel like I'm gonna say something that I've said on the messages already to you guys, but we are fast approaching Spartan levels of incompetence. I have been the first to say, hey, we're miles ahead of Spartan because of XYZ, but with the rule stuff we're going to get to and this stuff, we're entering a new territory, which Dave is sitting back going, I told you this the whole time. So I'm having, again, what do I always talk about? The trust bank. Wipe out some more trust, wipe out some more trust until there's none left and you can't get it back. Once it's negative, it ain't coming. The trust ain't coming back.
Yeah. Let me just say one. I want to hear what Dave has to say, but this is another thing that Peter said that I would like to add to. He says, as you say, the bottom line is that it is discrimination, ageism. I'm hearing it all over the community. That's exactly what they're considering it, right? He says, I train 6 days a week. I love competing, and I've never felt so furious for such a long time. Isn't it interesting how their social channels endlessly highlight older people competing in events, which is great, and that this is a sport for everyone, and yet they think this is okay. Like on the one hand, they love us, but on the other hand, they treat us like this. I will say this about this community, and this also has something to do with Alondra, but one thing I love about this community is that men and women are treated equally as athletes. I have never felt different or disrespected. Effort is rewarded regardless of who you are. I've always felt that way as a woman here, and we see it across the board, how terrified the men are of Lauren Weeks, right? We love that about this community. And on the other hand, like I hang around people who are literally old enough to be my children all the time. And nobody in this community acts like I'm old, except for Matt Davis, right? Everybody else treats me like they see me, they understand me as an athlete, as a human. It is absolutely marvelous. It's one of the reasons why, I spend money and I take my time and I get involved in all of this. Never at any time do I feel this, well, that's nice, Grandma, let's get you to bed. Like I do when it comes to HQ. They're the only ones who are sending that message. Nobody else is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, again, whatever fuck up they did, right? They booked Sweden one less day than they should have. Whatever it was, all of that could have been forgiven if it was we screwed up and the smallest age group is this one. It's the only way we could do it. And here's a refund and a free race. Like something. And again, that would suck. And for some people, that wouldn't be enough. But it wouldn't be this, which is sit down, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Patronizing, ageist. You can't tell me that
And
they
I only
couldn't.
make fun of Cheryl because she's slightly older than me. By the
And
way.
and I love that you make fun of
I
me.
know. I know. So tell the audience so they don't get freaked out.
Yes. But look, couldn't they have put doubles on Sunday during the adaptive divisions? I mean, there are other options, right? To not just anyway. Okay, I'm done.
I think it's fantastic that Hyrox is looking out for you old folks. First, they won't let you lift some heavy weights because that's good. I don't want you getting hurt. And now we don't want you being scared by the big fast young people. So that's really good. I mean, this is a class move, 100%. It's fucking stupid. It's just dumb. It obviously they made some kind of error in scheduling, and like Matt says, if they just owned up and said, "Hey, we fucked up. We're having trouble," or move it to the, like you said, to the other day, to the same time as the adaptive, something, anything, rather than, "Oh, look at what we're doing for you. Aren't we great? Isn't this nice? Aren't you happy?" Like, come on. That is that gaslighting?
That is gaslighting.
All right, good. I got it, because I really struggle with gaslighting as a definition. So, yeah, it's just fucking stupid.
I mean, we had free Depends for you at the finish line. What else do you guys want?
Yeah, it's just transparency. Just transparency, please. Would be so nice.
So I think that's the theme we're going to go with here today.
Yeah.
I think transparency will be the theme.
And to the people in that division, I really feel sorry for you. I mean, and I mean, I'm getting there eventually, right? So that's just bullshit. They should be pissed.
Yeah, you see, I mean, these athletes that are upset about it are legitimate elite level athletes, right? Like they are working as hard and they are performing as well as anybody. And so to treat them like they need extra help or that they need something special is incredibly condescending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's condescending is exactly the right word.
Yeah.
Patronizing, all that shit.
The thing that just came to me, which like the only thing that would make sense is like I think we always assume it's somebody that like shows up to Hyrox's every week that work at HQ. They might have gotten so big that it's some guy or gal that's not actually been to a race. You know what I mean? Because that happens. Like, hey, when you work here, we want you to get to one. You'll probably get to one this year, but it's like, hey, we have this issue, and it's some. Listen, I shouldn't say this because it'll make me the opposite of what we're just saying. Like, it could be some 28-year-old girl. It could be some 28-year-old guy, right? It could be a 28-year-old something that wrote.
College
intern.
intern.
It wasn't a 50-year-old something that wrote this. So that's again the only thing I can maybe think, because again, like if you nobody who's at Hyrox would write this, right? Who actually experiences Hyrox would write this. Somebody who's new and who is like given the job of writing this email.
Good question. I know that a number of these athletes have written Mo directly. And I do think that there is this tendency for Hyrox, and I'm not quite sure why they do this, but you know, this may come up later on too, that they do something like this. There's a big uproar. They say nothing about it and then just quietly change it, right? They do seem to be responsive. I have some hope that they will be.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, well let's go in order of the things that happened this weekend. So next up would be Dr. Alondra Greenlee, who I'll set the table for folks as I understand it. And some of it is alleged. Like she says what happened with her and Matlock, right? Because I can't get Matt to say anything other than no comment, we don't know for a fact that's what happened. because maybe the words were slightly different, or who knows. Like, I'm just trying to give as broad of it as I can, right? She said, he said I was being aggressive. And I was like, did you raise your voice? She's like, no. And he's, after we got done talking, I'm like, isn't he like an inch or two taller than you? Like, he's a relatively, like, he's not a short guy. Anyway, so Alondra is told, if you don't make this Friday meeting, you can't race. To which she says, okay. Then it comes to our attention that Kent, who we're not blaming in this situation, did not make it either. And from what she said to me, that was like news to them. Like, somehow, like, they didn't do a head count or anything. It was like, oh, we didn't know that. So then when she approached them later and said, what's up with this? Like, Kent didn't show up to the Friday either because he missed a flight. He showed up to the Saturday briefing. She was told, again, as she said in the video, everybody's treated the same way, which would mean he's not racing, and that's not what happened. He did race. So it's so silly to me because it's standing on two things. One, a rule you're not applying across the board, and two, one that's easily fixed with, well, we are having another one on Saturday anyway, so if you can make it to that one, you can race Saturday, because it's the same speech again, minus, hey, for doubles, you guys have to be within a foot of each other. That's kind of the only difference in the briefing, really. All the rules are the same. You understand? The layout, the rules. So, hey, make it Friday if you can. And for those of you that are traveling, because we know you have jobs, because not all of you do this for a living, let's make Saturday available. So to me, it's two really, really bad decisions. Not just one.
I will say one thing in Matlock's defense, and this may be the first thing I've ever said in Matlock's defense. I have only ever dealt with Alondra in happy scenarios, and she terrifies me. She is an imposing figure. She is terrifying. I love Alondra. She's fantastic, but I would not want Alondra upset with me. No, yeah, that's my only Matlock defense there. Is yeah, I could no, it's not even a defense. No, it's bullshit. Absolutely, it's absolutely crazy. I like where you say this, Matt, what we know for sure and what we don't know for sure. What we know for sure is that these meetings are declared mandatory, right? If you want to race, you have to go to these meetings. That's what they've said. That's been the rule. We know that Alondra did not go to the meeting and was not allowed to race. We know that Kent did not go to the meeting and was allowed to race. A meeting is not mandatory if some people can go, some people cannot go. That it's black and white. It doesn't matter the reasoning. It doesn't matter why. If you've listed it as mandatory, it's mandatory for all. You cannot pick and choose. If it is not mandatory under certain circumstances, you need to make that clear to the athletes what those circumstances are. All right. Now, I have heard the thought that, well, Kent's flight was delayed, was out of his control. I absolutely 110% believe that to be accurate. However, that doesn't mean shit. If, for example, I'm running a crew at work, if I'm going to give leniency, I'm giving leniency to the person that told me 3 days ahead of time they're going to be late that day so that I can make accommodations and we can make it work. Not the person who says I'm stuck in traffic. And again, we're not belittling what happened to Kent, and I don't, quite frankly, I think these mandatory meetings are ridiculous, stupid, and shouldn't happen. So I think they both should have been able to race. But I'm just saying, as per rules, you've written these rules. This is what they are. You can't just pick and choose when to follow them. It shows it gives your athletes zero trust, which they were already running low on, and it just adds to the pile of this complete arbitrary enforcement of the rules, sometimes here, sometimes there, maybe you, maybe not you. It really depends on how we feel in the moment, and it just it boggles the mind. They both should have been allowed to race, in my mind, and the meeting should not be mandatory. So again, actually, you know what, I take that back. They both should not have been allowed to race. Then the rules should have been changed, and next time they should have been allowed to race.
Right. The reason, it's the whole reason you have a standard, right? My grandmother was sick and dying. I had to stay late for work. Traffic was bad. Plane was missed. Like, none of these are good or bad excuses. It's no. You didn't make it. It's a binary situation, right?
Yep.
So again, I can't say this enough. If you're gonna lay on it so hard, if there wasn't two of them, and the second one is still before the first one, right? And it's been communicated. I can make the second one.
Mm.
I'm not saying 30 athletes get 30 different times to show up. I'm
No.
giving you a very reasonable situation of here's the first one. In certain circumstances, will allow you to make the second one, and then you call and you go, I have work, and they go, okay, or you go, my plane's late, and it's a pretty simple. Anyway, I've said enough. Cheryl,
And well, I want to say one more thing. These things could be a fucking Zoom call.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Isn't this an email?
Yeah.
This is just nothing. It's not like these people haven't raced a ton of times, and maybe you have a briefing an hour before the race to just go over a couple of things, right? Like, what do you need him to sit there for?
unless you think you're being in front of these people is really important.
Well, we know people like that.
I mean, honestly, like,
Yeah,
what?
sort of justify your job.
I mean, right, like, and again, I've asked Matt to speak to me about this. He got back to me with a very clear answer, which I
And said
posted.
cheers, which was so cheerful.
What's funny, you guys read the cheers as an F off. I just think that's how people in Australia or New Zealand or England, they just say cheers at the end. I didn't think
Yeah.
I didn't take it as a fuck off. Dave took it as a fuck off.
I would totally take it as a fuck off.
And I just took it as it's awfully nice for what he just did.
Okay,
And I
well-
think it's a cultural thing. I think
I'd
you're
love
right.
to hear it in the comments, cultural or Matt Davis fuck off. I mean, it could be either, it could be both. But again, I appreciate the response. Like you said, Cheryl, they usually, like, they're pretty quick to respond, even the responses like, I'm not touching either of these, any of these.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about that before we move on to
Yes.
the other rule violation?
First of all, I think they're lucky she's a doctor and not a lawyer. I think there is a point where people are starting to lose money and people are starting to have real financial consequences to this. This is elite racing. These are checks. This is money. This is thousands of dollars. And so for them to just be dismissive and to think that they can arbitrarily apply rules when there is real financial consequences involved, I think that's going to get them in trouble quicker than they think. So that's one thing. I think the other thing is the insult to injury is the whole, what was the exact quote? I don't appreciate you speaking to me like that. In other words, I don't like your tone, young lady, right? Like there is that sexism that I think many of us have experienced where he would not be okay saying that to perhaps a male athlete. It's just an extra insult to her to imply that she's not allowed to be upset about this.
The one more thing I want to add, and I might probably reiterate this later, the fact that they will not comment on it, that they will not explain, that they will not justify anything, that they will not have any accountability and transparency it's pathetic. Every sports league in the world, if they have a suspension, which this very much comes to a suspension. She was suspended for one race. If they have a suspension in the NFL, they make a statement. If in the NHL, they make a statement. Major League Baseball, they make a statement. And again, this probably hits a little home with me because I pride myself on being incredibly transparent with this stuff. And to just sit there and go, yeah, no comment, cheers, that does sound like a fuck off to me. And it's quite frankly insulting to the athletes, and it's insulting to the fans. Like, you say you want to build this real sport, and yet you just arbitrarily do shit and don't explain. If you can't explain it, that means you can't stand by it. And if you can't stand by it, that means it's a piss poor decision.
This is not Olympic behavior. Can you
Actually,
imagine?
it might be.
Well, no, but I mean, can you imagine if this had happened at the recent Olympics? Like, there would have been an international incident about this, right? Like, I do think that you have to have protocols in place where what you say stands, and you can't just be arbitrary about it, or it causes real problems.
Again, this is what, obviously I'm getting lots of emojis to the no comment post. And again, what you hear, I can feel everyone's heart sinking and everyone's trust going down. Like
The morale.
Like even a bullshit excuse would have been better. Like, we let Mr. Kent race because, in some things you don't know about, and this was decided, like something like that, like kind of shows a little bit more respect than I'm not going to talk to you about any of these. Like, okay. So I yeah, I don't know. It's like, okay, I guess this is how it's going to be. Stuff will happen. I'll ask questions. I'll be told no comment. And this will continue to be the lack of trust that happens with this community. I mean, I think we need to jump right into what happened with Cole.
Sure.
There was no stands for this race. There was no big screen except for like in front of the finish. So it was like, I don't like following around station to station. I'm not going to film anything, so I typically chill in the stands, watch. For this race, I just sat behind the wall balls with Matt Kemp, and we watched on this. We were watching on the thing, and so we're a little bit behind, and we're kind of half watching, half talking, and I'm looking at the leaderboard, and I get a first message: "Did you see Cole dumped water on himself?" And I'm like, I probably let the first one go, but when the second ping comes through, we start rewinding, and sure enough, coming into the farmer's carry, he takes a cup of water, doesn't dump it on his head, but he does dump it on his shoulder. It's very obvious, and some people say, is that even a rule? Which shows that it's not a rule that some people don't know, but it's enough that a shitload of people are messaging me, which means the people that care about this sport, wait for it, think every single rule matters. We think rule 1 matters. We think rule 15 matters. So we're going to talk about it. So, listen, do I want to shit on his parade when he comes through and has that check and has this, like, it's not fun for any of us, right? To be like, oh, look, you broke this rule. But we don't, this plus chalk, it's like that's what I mean by Spartan levels. This plus the chalk thing, we are now in like
Plus the yeet.
Well, the yeet, the yeet, like putting that over here. If Hunter McIntyre poured water on himself and won the race, would that be ignored? Would I get a no comment? I mean, listen, I don't like to talk hypothetical, theoretical, because it's like we're talking, but come on, like, do you think there's any way in hell Hunter gets away with that?
Sean Noble doesn't.
Sean Noble doesn't. Hunter doesn't.
So is it a popularity contest?
It's a weird we like this person and we're choosing to, or we're in the mood to celebrate this person, or it's not really that bad. Maybe we should change the rule. It's who the fuck knows. But we, as fans of the sport, and me as a journalist of the sport, doesn't know what to think or believe, and thinks, well, they must be favorites. It was easier for people to say with the Joanna thing, well, it's an Australian thing. For Cole, he's not from Australia, so maybe it's a anti-American. Like, who knows? But we have to ask these questions because rules are applied when they feel like it.
What's fun is I was just watching the elite highlight footage that Hyrox just put out for the elite men's race. And they have footage of Cole running through the rock zone, grabbing a water and drinking it, but it's not the one before the farmer's carry. It's a different one. And then they edit out the one before the farmer's carry.
Well, you only got 15 minutes. You're not going to show the penalty. Come on.
No, but the fact that they showed one but not the other, I thought was a deliberate, it felt awfully interesting that they would do that.
People want to nitpick stuff, and this person's foot might have been half over the line. Like, all that shit I don't have time for. But this plus chalk to me is like, okay, I never know what they're going to do. I have zero trust in where the rules are now.
Okay, so Dave, I have a question for you about this. My husband and I were discussing how quick the judges are to whip out that yellow card when your feet land not parallel to each other in BBJs, right? Like, it is, let's go. There doesn't seem to be any judging protocol in the rock zone on the course. Look how long it took for them to penalize the United States team for physical assault in the relay, right? Last World Championships. There doesn't seem to be like judges stationed for them to catch this And clearly there's no sort of head judge watching the live feed to catch this.
So I believe that there is judges in the rock zones. We see them all the time pointing athletes in the direction they need to go when they're exiting the zones. They're there when they enter as well. Also, a lot of Hyrox officials are in the rock zones, especially with the leaders when they're coming in. I know I saw Matt Locke himself very much at the beginning and endings of a lot of zones. This was seen. They were all seen. And somebody in Hyrox is watching that stream. And at the very least, someone at if Matt can find out mid thing, because people are messaging him, people are messaging them too. This stuff does not go unseen. And by the way, like I'll look at Cole as a friend. I think that it would be absolutely horrible if this penalty was put on, because it would really suck. And at the same time, I'm going to say that it should have been. And if in this job you are not able to disappoint your friends and call things properly, then you should not be doing this job.
Well, but the burden of this seems to be lying on the athletes to protest.
No, it shouldn't be. That's absolutely asinine. That's asinine. You protest things that you see athletes do and stuff, but this is a direct violation of a rule. It's not a bad rep. It's not a misstation. It's not a thing like that.
It should be
it is a safety violation, according to Hyrox, and that does not need someone to protest. Just like an assault does not need someone to protest.
Right. But the protest, I understand an athlete protest should exist for something way over here. Like something did happen right out of camera view and someone goes, hey, this guy spit on me or whatever, right?
Yeah, that went unseen,
but
absolutely. But this did not go unseen.
There's not a chance in hell that there is not. I mean, I've seen Mo with the headset on like all the time. Like, so I don't know who it is. Somebody is watching on that screen, and even if the person, which by the way, that should be a job, right? A judge, somebody in charge of this, right? But even if it wasn't, somebody would then get that word to somebody, hey, this happened. The only difference between this and the chalk is that the announcer didn't go, here comes the water, right? That's the only difference. It's just as obvious. Cheryl, you do bring up a good point, though, in that they do have them stationed, but like, if they're not going to have them literally along the rock zone, then the live feed is in fact the ref. And I don't know at what point they said, guys, we're not going to talk about this. It's happened and we're going to let it go. I don't know. Like somewhere between the time it happened and the finish, there was lots of murmurs. I saw people, everybody's got their own story to tell. I saw athletes talking to judges. I saw coaches talking to judges. But the kind of consensus was, this kind of sucks. And well, first of all, let's make one thing clear: the person that would have benefited most, right, Monsieur Dubé, right, is in fact coached by Cole Learn. Because I said to Samuel, I go, hey Samuel, is he going to say something? Because I saw Samuel talking to him in French, and I said, and he's like, that's his coach, and I was like, well, there goes that. So now somebody else has got to go to be the bad guy, and it's like, if I'm an athlete, I'm like, I don't want that to happen to me one day.
The point of officials is so athletes don't have to be the bad guy.
Right. And that came up before. I forget the last time. I think the chalk thing, right? Because Lauren was racing with her the next day, and it's like, so now you're going to put it on Lauren to blame her? So I'm leaving this event as happy as I've ever been with having a good time, the community and all the stuff, and as bad as I've ever felt with this, like I said. This plus the chalk is like two fucking big ones. Like, wow, you're really just insulting our intelligence as bad as the as bad as the email that says this, we're moving this race for you.
Well, and we go back to the Sean Noble one where he had the thing, and it was just, oh yeah, we've instituted these new rules where we can take 48 hours to change things.
What happened with Sean? I can't even remember now.
When he got bumped from his qualifying spot. Oh, because they said his last rep was no good, but the judge.
To which Matt Noble said, "What controversy?" Yes, now I remember.
Yeah, that one. Same deal.
Yeah, we are at a point now where majors and world championships can be decided by or not decided by right?
Just kind of however they're feeling, right?
I said to one athlete I spoke with today, all of you should dump water at least once, like in protest, basically, right? So you all
Yeah.
get a penalty, you don't. That would create a mess, and of course, it's not going to happen. But that's what I would do. I would, if I was in the field, be like, we should all just dump a little water on ourselves.
Well, I sort of love the fact that you have to go to these meetings, but you don't necessarily have to follow the rules. Like they'll tell you what to do, but you don't actually have to listen. You just have to show up to the meeting. It's not Olympic behavior. This is not going to float. If you want to be an Olympic sport, guys, it's not going to float.
It's bad when you have to look to CrossFit to figure out how to use transparency. That's not good. That's a bad sign.
What were they transparent about this week? What are they? Which CrossFit?
Ooh, CrossFit?
Yeah.
No, they weren't untransparent about anything this week. That's good for them.
Oh, right. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, that's good. It really makes me sad. Like it really bothers me. In both, even with the Joanna with the chalk thing, it took a magnificent race and tainted it. And this did the same thing. And it just fucking sucks for everyone involved. But I do go back to the same thing. If you cannot make the call, don't do the job. And I speak from the voice of massive amounts of experience on this. It sucks. It hurts. It's hard. But that's what you do. And that's how you get integrity and respect.
And I want to quickly say to you guys that people come up to me often and say thanks for what you guys are doing. So thank you. Sometimes if someone sends it to me in a DM, I'll share it with you. But a lot of people have come up to me this weekend, even before this stuff happened, just like, hey, you guys are kind of the only ones doing this, and thank you for doing it. So thank you guys for doing this with me.
Yeah, well,
it's giving us something to talk about. Dave, how do you fix this? How do you fix the organization so that there is morale among the elites and trust among the fans?
Well, the only way you get trust back is time and consistency. These are the two things they're not doing, right? So you either need, and I'll be straight out, what did DECA do when they were in the shits with the trust and that? They hired me. They said, this is our big change. We're going to make a big change in effort to bring things back. Whether it works or not, who knows? But that is an attempt. Hyrox needs to either do a bold statement or they need to time and consistent. And time and consistent, what you need to do is just realize that the rule book is law, and you just follow the law, right? If you, and this is the thing that really bothers me with Kent and Alondra, if you want to deviate from the rule book, you need to be able to justify why. And almost none, no, you really should never deviate from the rule book. There has to be a massive, unbelievable reason to do so. And they just won't even suggest why they did. They don't even care. Like they know they didn't follow the rule book, but they don't care. And that's the part that I find extremely insulting.
Right. Like once in a while, tornado shut down airports for 3 days. And that's probably a time you can go, hey, we're going to give you a pass on this one. Yeah. There's definitely unforeseen circumstances that happen. Things that you didn't think of that might not be in the rule book. Right. And you got to shift on the fly. That happens in every sports league. But when something is written in the rule book, point to make meetings mandatory, you made that point. That was your rule. The athletes didn't say we think these should need to be mandatory. You did. So then you need to enforce it. Otherwise, you're just floating around. It's bad. So yeah, in answer to that, time and consistency. Time, consistency, or a dramatic change.
So Matlock could stay and he could just start doing what you think is his job.
I hate to say that he should do what I think is his job because that's really fucking arrogant. But maybe I am.
What I mean.
Yeah. Consistency could bring it back. I mean, it takes time. It would take time. Like what it would take is a big controversy and them to do the hard call.
I don't see it happening.
And that's the problem right now is nobody believes it will happen because they've proven time and time again it won't.
Not on top of this fucking email situation with the 60 plus. It's just like, oh well, like there's just no. So listen, there's a race tonight.
Mhm.
Let us pray that everything goes like straight
Just
and narrow.
just boring and
Well,
good.
I'd like to have not a boring race. I'd like to have some close races, but
Yeah.
let's just hope there's no wackiness.
Yeah.
All right, we'll pick this up on Monday.
I just want to say one more thing.
Okay.
Even when you're at the top, it's really easy to fall off. So, I mean, this is something Hyrox needs to take seriously.
Mm.
All righty. See you guys soon.